Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, dun, dun. Hello. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics and look into the history of the characters, the creators, examine the stories and the art. Thank you for being here. What I want to take a little look at today comes from this book right here. Flash Gordon in the Planet Mongo. This is a hardback book from 1974. What was the publisher? Nostalgia Press, 1974. This reprints the first adventures of Flash Gordon from the Sunday comic pages, way back when. Created and drawn by the great Alex Raymond. So let's go take a look inside the big book of knowledge, see what it has to tell us. Okay, Flash Gordon is a space opera adventure comic strip created by Alex Raymond, first published in 1934 by King Features Syndicate. And Flash Gordon was inspired by and designed to compete with the Buck Rogers comic strip. And Flash Gordon has been adapted to a number of other media, including film, TV, animation, novels, and comic books. Don't forget radio. Forgot to put radio on there. And has been a successful and popular property since its inception. Alex Raymond, he was from 1909 to 1956. He was an American illustrator and cartoonist, best known for creating the Flash Gordon strip for King Features Syndicate in 1934. In the early 30s, he became an assistant on the strips Tilly the Toiler and Tim Tyler's Luck before creating Flash Gordon in 1934. At the time of starting Flash Gordon, Raymond was also working on the strips Jungle Jim and Secret Agent X9 at the same time. Because of the workload, he eventually dropped Secret Agent X9, leaving it to other artists. And Raymond was always known as an outstanding draftsman, possibly one of the greatest in the medium. And he was a big influence on just about everybody who came after him. He abandoned the comic strips in 1944 to join the Marines, and he saw combat in the Pacific in 1945. And after the war, he started a new strip, Rip Kirby, which is the story of a private detective. And Raymond died in a car accident in 1956 at the age of 46. And that's unfortunate. Think of all the great work he never got to produce. So, okay. Let us go have some fun with Flash Gordon in the Planet Mongo.
Presenting for the first time in radio the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Art. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure.
Yes, Flash Gordon in the Planet Mongo. Yeah, this you can see just a small sample here of Raymond's magnificent draftsmanship. Now, these were just Sunday pages. It was a few years before they started doing a daily strip, and his Raymond's assistant Austin Briggs did that in the 30s and 40s. Did the daily strip, which was separate adventures. And he was a fine draftsman too. Not exactly Alex Raymond caliber, but damn good. He was damn good. So, and of course, people are probably somewhat familiar with the movie serials, and there was a TV show in the 50s, and they had an animated series in the late 70s, early 80s, and 1980 had the movie with the Queen musical score. Now, in the early 70s, as I mentioned some time ago when I did the Phantom episode, Avon Books had published a series of Phantom novels, and at the same time they were also publishing a series of Flash Gordon novels. And just like the Phantom, they had these magnificent painted covers by the great Gray Morrow. And again, I'm not sure if these were adapted from the strips or completely original stories. And they are fun reading. I've got a half dozen or so of those. Then in the later 70s, they had another series of paperbacks. But this one, these are reprinting comic strips. The daily comic strip, which at that time was done by Dan Barry. And in the late 40s, early 50s, the strip kind of had a little bit of a soft reboot. Flash and Company finally returned to Earth after being marooned on Mongo for many years. And it seemed to, things changed. He was an astronaut in the military. He was a colonel, and he went gallivanting elsewhere, only occasionally returning to Mongo for an adventure. But he went gallivanting all over the place for his space adventures. And then in the early to mid 80s, they had another series of novels, Flash Gordon novels that were not tied to the comic strip at all, completely original. And the story was continued from novel to novel. And it took place in, I think it was the 24th century. It's been a long time since I've read any of them. And some giant spaceship or space station popped in out of hyperspace near Earth orbit. And Flash Gordon and Company had to, again, he was a colonel, had to go to investigate what it was. It was uninhabited. They weren't on this ship very long before it popped back out, and they were transported clear across the galaxy for a host of all new adventures, none of which had anything to do with the Planet Mongo. Okay, you can hear this collage on the frontispiece of the beautiful, giving a good example of beautiful artwork by Alex Raymond. I just love it. Oh, and then this one here with Flash and Dale. And actually, I think that particular image right there is not Alex Raymond, but I think that might be Mac Rayboy. After Flash left, Alex Raymond left the strip, it was taken over by the great draftsman Mac Rayboy, who did a wonderful, wonderful job. Incredibly beautiful artwork. Again, this is for the Sundays. And he had been doing work for Fawcett on the Captain Marvel Jr. For the Shazam titles. Okay, and I'm not going to cover this too fully here, because this is the very beginning. A new planet, a threat to the existence of Earth. Only Dr. Zarkov has any idea what might really be going on. Flash is in an airplane going someplace. Happens to have the lady Dale Arden there. Plane goes down. They parachute to safety and happen to run into Zarkov, who has gone a little bit mad. Forces them into the rocket ship that he has built, and they fly to this new planet to try to save the Earth. And like I said, he's a little bit off his rocker here, but he regains his sanity afterwards. And it happens to be the Planet Mongo, where they crash. They have encounters with alien beasts and alien men. Are prisoners of taken prisoner of the Emperor Ming. And they have a bunch of other adventures and make friends and enemies. And I want to get over here to, We'll talk a little bit about the Kingdom of the Falcon Men. Of course, they're the Hawkmen of Mars. And I think, it's just some beautiful stuff. And I think the Hawkmen here were the inspiration for DC's Hawkman, because he looks so much like them. And Princess Aura is not pleased with her father, and Ming is not pleased with her, and they're sending off Flash and Prince Thun, who are friends, to on a prison ship to go to being sent to the Hawkmen, Kingdom of the Hawkmen, to be a slave and prisoner. Meanwhile, Dale Arden is with him. They managed to break free. His friend is Prince Baron here, and there's Zarkov. The thing had crashed. See this, some of the great draftsmanship, and it's kind of almost minimalistic here, because remember, at this time he was doing 3 Sunday pages every week, which takes a lot, which takes a lot of time, and his work takes a lot of time, and so these strange little dwarfs had captured Dale, and of course scantily clad, because she was going to be Ming's bride. And they take her, and they are attacked by these armored what do they call them, Wolfrons. All the others abandon Dale except for this one little dwarf prince. He defends her, but he falls. They think he's dead, but he's only seriously injured. Meanwhile, Flash and company are trying to keep the others out of the crashed ship. The commander of the ship was taken prisoner by them, and he broke free. Flash is now just look at that. I mean, even the detail is great, even though it's not as lush as it later becomes. But the magnificent drawing, the draftsmanship of it. It's sheer fun adventure, non-stop adventure, that's for sure. They have to keep you coming back. And Prince Thun, the Lion Man, is injured. And then they find they're just in time to save Dale from the Wolfrons. they greet one another and embrace. Look at this lovely, lovely drawing there. Then the primitive little dwarfs are back, and they're going to attack them. They've taken the Prince Baron is carrying the injured prince on his shoulder, but he threatens to kill him if they attack. Stand back, or I drop your prince on my sword. So they do. They surrender, and they give him the prince, and they take off, while leaving the rest of Flash and company behind. Now here's a great, which has been used many times. They're being swept up and captured by the Hawkmen, and they're taken up to the floating city. Meanwhile, Flash and Dale are still on the ground, but then they are captured by Princess Aura. Yes, well, Princess Aura and Prince Thun have a thing, but a love-hate relationship. So she gets them, and they go back to onto the prince has helped them, and they eventually get to the city, Hawkmen City, and look at that beautiful rendition there. All the Hawkmen, the cityscape, lovely. King Volton of the Hawkmen on his throne, and the men in flight, and his lush, great beard. Here they're all captured, and they're imprisoned. They're going to torture Flash, and of course, Volton wants to make Dale his bride, and Princess Aura, she wants Flash tortured because he rejects her, but then she can't bear to watch him being tortured. And look at all the lovely ladies. This is King Volton's harem, and she's going to become another one of his brides. But some of these women are jealous, and they're going to throw Dale out to fall the 5,000 feet to the ground. There's Aura with the torturers, and Princess Aura can't stand to see the Flash tortured anymore, and go to check on him to release him, and then Flash bolts out, overpowering the Hawkmen. And Aura goes with him. He's got to find Dale, and he's climbing up the outside of the wall just in time to catch Dale as she is thrust out. Look at the beautiful line work on these, and the dynamism. Now, he mostly did his work in, and that's all I'm going to do, follow the story there. He was a prisoner, imprisoned, became, here's a great one. He led a revolution there in the atom furnaces, the radium furnaces, which power the anti-gravity stuff that keeps the city afloat. But you can see just how beautiful his work was, and almost everything is. This is probably the closest to close-up that you get is a mid shot. It's mostly theatrical staging, which was common at this time, in both in comics and in just getting away from that in film. It's a theatrical staging where you see basically the entire image instead of focusing on the more pertinent stuff. It's really beautiful. But I wanted, and ultimately they become friends. The Zarkov does something to save the city when it's about to fall out of the sky, and all kinds of adventures here. They wind up making friends with Volton, and they're going to cooperate to defeat Ming. And you see all this beautiful stuff. And that's all I'm going to do on that. But I want to show you this here. Because remember, when he was doing that, it was 3 Sunday pages every week. Well, here's just a couple years later, his work. And when his workload was not so heavy, and he was able to, I mean, the beautiful rendering, the feathering of the ink line, the lush darks, the more detailed backgrounds. Oh, look at this! Oh, these beautiful, beautiful drawings. You can see why he was regarded as one of the best draftsmen in the field. Yes, just utterly beautiful work. He drew a lot from on Robin Hood. Oh, hey, they're fighting. Dale and Flash fighting together, blasting away at whoever their enemy happens to be. The lush line work, the intricate details in the background when needed. Still primarily theatrical staging, but he switches it up just a little bit. He still kind of keeps that, but his page layouts change up a bit. Makes the page more interesting. Sometimes makes the story flow better. Or you can have, instead of all the panels being about the same size, you get varying size depending on what is being depicted. Some just really, I can't say it enough, some utterly beautiful. The way and the storytelling, visual storytelling has, of course, he has dialogue balloons, but quite a bit of narration, and with the Mac Rayboy stuff later on, they abandoned balloons entirely for text, text narration and text dialogue. Just utterly gorgeous, and that's about all I want to show you of Flash Gordon for now. Some other time we'll do regular comic books. Flash Gordon on the Planet Mongo. You gotta love it. We'll do Buck Rogers sometime too. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, share, subscribe, share it with your other comic book friends, or comic strip friends, nostalgia friends, science fiction, you name it. And remember, comics are art.